7 shocking retirement revelations 7 years after retirement. I was able to quit my 9-to-5 job 7 years ago, and I have never worked for someone else since. So I am sharing the revelations that I have received the past 7 years. I am Tiffany Thomas, your wealth mentor. I achieved financial freedom in my 30s and became a millionaire at 40. I'm here to help you do that even earlier and easier and without bias, since I do not work for any third parties. And if you are interested in working with me, I do have a program. I will leave a link below in the description. You can click on the link and get the details on how you can work with me so that you too can become financially free. All right, so let's dive in and talk about these 7 shocking retirement revelations 7 years after retirement. The first one that I want to talk about is that for me personally, I had to have something I was still working on. I still had to have a purpose. And I'm really glad that I did this, because it can get really lonely and very boring once you are retired, especially if you are retiring early. So I personally had a business that I had just started, and so I wanted to continue growing my business and working on that. And that has been my purpose since I had quit my 9-to-5 job. And I really love having that purpose because I love helping people be able to learn how to retire, to invest their money and know how to make it work for them. So that is something that I have learned, that if I didn't have that purpose, I know for sure I would be super bored and probably very lonely. So think about what type of purpose you want to have when you retire. And I would say make sure you know what you want to do, what the direction is, before you retire, so that you can jump right into this. And maybe you do a little bit of it before you actually retire, so that things are in place and you can just jump right into whatever this whatever this purpose is. And then the second item, the second revelation that I want to share with you is that I personally was still worried I would run out of money. So I was really conservative when I first quit my job, and I'm probably still a little bit conservative. And honestly, I'm glad that I was conservative. I was able to still save and invest money over these past 7 years. And if I was just spending money wherever and whenever and not really prioritizing my spending, I may have run out of money or been close to running out of money or just actually had to get another job. But I was conservative, and honestly, during part of this, I lived off my food storage. I had a bunch of food items. I actually worked for a food storage company before. So I had a bunch of items in my food storage room downstairs. And I started rotating through those items and eating that food. And I saved a lot of money on groceries by doing this. And just really watching where I was spending my money. I wasn't being super frivolous and going out to eat all of the time or going to movies all of the time. I decided to just be conservative in my spending. And I learned some practical skills. And honestly, it also helped me not regret what I was spending my money on. I know before, when I had my 9-to-5 job, I would buy a lot of clothes. And honestly, I ended up getting rid of a lot of those clothes and wish I would have spent my money. Well, I wish I would have just invested more of my money instead of spending it on clothes. So being conservative when I first quit my job was actually healthy and helped me realize that I am happier when I spend on my priorities. It's not that I didn't spend any money whatsoever, but when I spend on my priorities, that is helping me be happier. I don't have regrets on my purchases. All right, and then item number 3 that I want to share with you is that not to listen to other people that haven't retired. If people are trying to give you advice and they haven't actually retired themselves, then I would take their advice with a grain of salt. I probably wouldn't listen to them. But if people that have retired are giving suggestions or advice, then I would pay attention to that, because they actually know what it is to be retired. They know what things are like. So a lot of people will share what they would spend their time on, or that they wouldn't quit their job as early, that they would continue to work, different things like that. But they don't actually know because they haven't been in that situation. So remember to get advice from those that are actually where you want to be. And this has made a big difference in a lot of aspects of my life. When I was looking at getting into real estate, there were some of my friends that were saying, oh, that'd be so scary. What if you can't find renters? You're going to lose all your money. Or what if the real estate market tanks? Then what are you going to do? I wasn't listening to them. I asked specific advice from those that were being successful with real estate. I asked one of my friends who owns multiple properties. I asked advice from him, and then also one of my previous bosses who is successful with real estate. And that's where I got my advice from. So be really careful on where you're taking advice, especially when you are looking at retirement and early retirement. Okay, and then item number 4 is to make sure you aren't contributing to certain retirement accounts that you're not going to be able to. For example, if you aren't bringing in any money, you're not going to be able to invest in a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA because the money that goes into those accounts it needs to be taxable income. It has to come from income you have made that year that is going to be taxed. And I personally made this mistake. I invested too much in my Roth IRA. And when my accountant was doing my taxes, he said, Tiffany, you didn't make enough to be investing in this Roth IRA. And so we ended up having to take that money out, and it was a hassle. So just pay attention to where you are putting your money, especially with retirement accounts, and make sure that you are able to, or that you are putting them in the proper accounts so that you don't have to take money out later or pay a penalty later on. And if you, again, do want help with things like this, I do have my program on how you can work with me. I will leave that link below in the description. You can click on that link and check out the details. And then revelation number 5 is to make a plan for your days. I know this has made a big difference for me in just feeling more accomplished if I have planned out what I am going to do each day. And I do this the night before. And even if it's just things that I want to do, not necessarily work or different things to accomplish, but if I am planning out my day the night before, I'm going to be a lot more productive and feel a lot better about that day. And this goes along with even when I had a 9-to-5 job. I would definitely plan out my work items that I needed to do, but then also what I wanted to do after work. So it just made it so I was actually getting things done and doing items that I wanted to be doing, whether it was just going to dinner with friends or organizing my closet, whatever it was. If I planned it out, then I knew it would get done. So try this out and let me know how it goes. Try planning out just 2 or 3 items that you want to get done the next day. And then item number 6 is to stay social. It can be very lonely when you are the only one in your home and you don't interact with people throughout the day like you would if you were going to a 9-to-5 job. And even with people that have remote jobs, they might feel this loneliness too. So it's important that we are still social. I try to leave my house at least once a day. So whether I'm going to lunch with a friend or I have dinner plans or I'm going dancing, I plan something to leave the house, even if it's just a walk around the park. And this really helps with our mindset as well. If we can interact with other people and tell them things that we've accomplished or listen to their struggles and just be a listening ear or a support for someone else, it makes a really big difference in our own lives, because we aren't so concerned about with just ourselves, right? We can be looking outward and helping people and then also sharing what we're doing. So it makes a really big difference. And then retirement revelation number 7 is to not tie your self-worth or your value to your career. A lot of times when we meet someone new, the first question they ask us is, oh, what do you do for a living? And if we are retired, then we don't have a job that we're doing. We can't say that we are an accountant or we're in marketing or we are a CEO, right? If we're retired, then we don't have that job descriptor. So I just wanted to emphasize that we don't need to have a career in order to still be valued and still have self-worth. We are definitely valued and have a high self-worth no matter what we are doing, whether that is just spending more time with our families or making time for our friends or even traveling, seeing the world. When we are living our dreams or our purpose or our passion, we still have value. We still have that high self-worth. So it's important to make that distinction. We are definitely still a friend to someone, or we are still a mother or a daughter or a sister, or we are able to volunteer and make other people's lives better, right? We still have value. We are still adding value to the world, even without a 9-to-5 job. So those are the 7 shocking retirement revelations 7 years after retirement. Comment below and tell me which one was your favorite revelation, or if you have another one if you are retired. And if you do want help retiring early, make sure and click the link below in the description and get the details on how you can work with me. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button. That will really help my channel out. And make sure and share this video with someone else who will find it valuable. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.